Hello, and welcome to So You Think You Can Rule Persia, the podcast where we rated and reviewed all the kings of Persia from Diocles to Yazdegerd III. Welcome to the second set of rounds, part 1. My name is Serial, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name is Umberto, my pronouns are he, him. Hello everybody, and welcome to the second layer of rounds at last. We've made all the easy quote-unquote decisions by eliminating
you say that.
Alexander the Great and Cyrus and Shapur II.
Yeah,
you know
the normal
things.
I can't believe Alexander the Great is no longer here.
Yeah.
Were people mad about it?
People were mad about it. I think most people agreed. Cyrus is where people really disagreed. We'll get into that later.
Okay, good. I get
Cyrus
it.
And
I
Shapur
get
II
it. I
were
mean,
really
but he's got
stronger,
enough of a spotlight. Like, I don't. It's
exactly.
Anyway,
we're giving visibility to lesser known artists of the ruling category.
Sure, if you want to call it that.
But yeah, so now that we've done all the quote unquote easy decisions, we go into the horrifying decisions. Because today we're going to be having to choose 2 people to pass forward into the semifinals at last. So these will be the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
But among them, we'll have to choose 2 between Darius the Great, Mithridates the Great, Khosrow I, Shapur I, and Khosrow II.
No!
Horrible choices abound.
Oh.
Exactly. We are in so much danger, Sarah.
I already did not enjoy having to choose for the previous rounds, so we did this to ourselves.
Exactly. It was always going to arrive at some point, so we forced ourselves on.
God. All right.
So yeah. Also, just to give you a brief preview of what this is, this new set of rounds is going to be like, we're going to go through the remaining category rounds, so face of faces and lengthiness, which are going to be a lot more straightforward. And then we're going to give a quick recap of the lives and scores of the kings in question, and then we're going to judge if my algorithm works, because I made an algorithm to sort these people into D&D alignment charts.
Wait.
And we'll see if my algorithm is correct or not.
So
we get to decide.
I assume you don't mean like a social media algorithm. Like you just mean a series of rules that you're going to follow.
I mean like a small Excel spreadsheet.
Yes, exactly.
That's all I mean.
So I'm very curious to know how you designed this.
Yes. So we'll find that out when we get to that series, and then you can tell me if you agree with the choices of my algorithm, if you think the kings fit in their categories, or if you think that actually, no, the vibes are off, they deserve their own special category.
So this is, when are we doing this? The semifinals? Or now?
We're doing this now for this second set of rounds. Semifinals have their own separate thing.
Okay, because
we'll find out in due
there's
time.
a lot of D&D classes, so I assume we have enough for all of them.
Not classes, alignments, but yes. I think we have I don't know if we fill out all the alignments, but yeah, we might.
But there's 9 of them, so.
Yeah. We definitely filled... Well, actually, let me check real quick. La. We didn't have any neutral evil or chaotic good kings among our Shahanshahs in general.
Who has been a chaotic good king? That is a really difficult alignment to fit.
Exactly. It's complicated. It's just like a rebel of some sort.
Yeah, I
maybe
guess.
Like rebel fighting for truth, justice, but that's also not much of a king. But anyway, let's go.
Exactly.
So, Serial, first of all, to restart, we need to review the polls on our previous episode. Our previous episode, we had Khosrow II, Cyrus the Great, Peroz I, Musa, and Narse face off. And we chose that Khosrow II and Musa were the ones that should go past to the next categories. And, well, we meet Khosrow II in this new round. So, I put a poll on our social media and our Discords. And in the end, we found the following results. In random order, we had Khosrow II with 38% of people supporting him. So, most people agreed with our decision. Then Cyrus the Great with 50%. So many people strongly disagreed with our decision to exclude him.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I guess if you
fair.
had asked me like before the rounds, just like cold open, sort of what are some kings that you would like have in the rounds, I probably would have put Cyrus on there. But like we made our arguments.
Yeah, exactly. People know what we meant. Also, Cyrus is our second most downloaded episode after episode 0. So it's like, it's what people come into a lot. So, it's the one people have heard about when you talk about Persia.
Yeah, but it's also one of the first episodes, which makes sense why it would also be downloaded a bunch.
But yeah, then we had Peroz I with 4% preferences that thought he should have gone through. Musa had only 8% of people vouching for her, but we decided to go for her in the end because she's a cool person. She deserves a spot later on. And then finally, poor Narse got 0% of the vote because nobody thought he was actually worth it. Everyone was like, nope, no.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine that you got a Shahanshah, but
that's
bye.
all. Yeah.
And yeah, so now we get to today's episode, Serial, because this is the round where we discuss the Face of Faces. So we're going to be looking at which are our favorite portraits throughout all the podcast, and which are the rulers that, despite having the highest score, had the worst portraits, or in this case specifically, had no portraits at all. So we'll find out. So to start with, our Face of Faces, we have 8 people who have received top scores of Face of Faces. We thought they were amazing, incredible. So Sarah will get to rate them in order and see which one is our favorite. So first of all, let's list them.
Yeah.
We have Alexander the Great.
Yes, I knew this one. For sure.
Strong face.
He became a whole like icon on its own. So
Yes, that's right. Then we have Peroz I,
mm-hmm.
Seleucus Nicator, Seleucus I,
Yeah.
Antiochus the Great,
Yes.
Shapur II, Mithridates I, Shapur I, and Ardashir the Great.
Okay, I don't remember all of them. Like I remember by name, but I don't remember their faces that well. But we're gonna.
So
see.
Serial, let me share my screen with you.
Yes.
And
sorry
you can
to all
have
of our
a view
listeners.
of.
We will put all of these
Yes.
on the website, right?
They're the ones that we used for our Face of Faces
Perfect.
in each episode, so it's there. So we can have a bit of a look at what they were, and then Cyril, you can tell me with the one with most artistic eye of the two, where you would rate these, and I could break any ties.
I love the yesification of Alexander the Great. It's so funny.
Exactly.
To me.
For Alexander the Great, we have his 2 images. We have the roughly contemporary one, where he's just like a dude, He has a
like
face,
strong
it's recognizable,
facial
but he's a
features,
dude.
but he looks like a real person.
And then a few hundred years later, he is basically Apollo with long flowing hair and a slightly tilted head, and he's looking to the heavens because he's become a god.
Yep.
So that's what we had for Alexander the Great. Next up for Peroz, we had this carnelian intaglio, where he had this lovely massive pearl earring. You could see that it's all very cool. It's
so
just like
beautiful.
one of the few Sassanid seals that we have that were just placed into to sign documents, and looks very cool. He's extremely elaborate crown.
The material
nice.
too, like it glows in such an interesting way. So cool.
Yeah, the carnelian is gorgeous. Next up, we have Seleucus Nicator from this statue that we have in that is from Pompeii. Looks very cool. It's just a dark stone that is just very impactful. You can see the eyes. There's still the whites in the eyes with the iris. It's all a very cool statue. And it's nice that you can see him. It's actually like a guy.
Yeah.
And he has these very intense Macedonian features.
Like he doesn't look like
nice
every
to
other
see.
statue. He very clearly has like very distinct features.
Yeah. So this is a Roman copy of a Greek original, I believe. Then we have Antiochus the Great.
Also,
this little statue is at the Louvre. I have a selfie with the statue.
I love this statue.
Because why not?
Like I love
This one's very good.
the face, the expression. I feel like I can see the person that this guy was. It has a
Yeah.
lot of humanity, which is really difficult in my opinion to express through a statue, because they
Mhm.
tend to look very like superhuman. They tend to look very like divine, or in a way just like detached from humanity, because they're gigantic pieces of stone or metal,
Yeah.
and it just
But
this
here you
has
can
a lot
actually
of
see Antiochus is he's a guy. Yeah.
mm,
You can tell you can see him as a person. Just be there. It's not as grandiose as say Peros is entirely with like crowns with things flying everywhere. This is just like a very plain
yeah, and
individual.
like you can see the like imperfections in his face and his skin, like the way that he's not fully symmetrical, and just like I don't know, the expression, that very slight expression, but like
Mm.
very real to me. I don't know. I like this statue a lot.
Yeah, very cool. Then we have Shapur II, where
Yes.
we have this silver vessel over here with a massive spherical crown and a round head. It's not. It's basically. It almost looks like a figure eight, where you just have like the crown on top and then just like the round face with the hair at the bottom and the nice beard popping
Very
down. I
funny
don't know if this is a
perspective.
drinking vessel or something, but it
I don't
is.
know.
It could definitely work as a massive carafe of some sort.
It's so cool.
So very cool, fun. It's on most Sassanid books. This is the cover of a few of the books I have. So
Yeah, that
very
makes
nice.
sense.
Next, we have Mithridates I, where we really enjoyed the
Right.
fact that there is a Parthian coin when he is younger, and then a more Greek looking coin when he is older and he's conquered his empire. So at first, he has like a tiny little Phrygian cap and no beard because he's a young man. And there's an Arsacid archer on the back of it. And then later on, we have him as a Greek king. He has a beard like all the Iranian kings we'll see later on, but he has a diadem. He looks very Hellenistic. And on the back of that coin, we have Heracles.
This is
So
so
we thought
interesting.
it
I
was very
forgot
neat
about
how
this.
there
Yeah,
is this double
but he's the
face.
friend of the
Yeah, yeah.
Greeks, so
Yeah, exactly. He's just conquered a massively Greek speaking area, so he's going to cater to that and say, hey, look, I'm a changed man. I am different from what I used to be. So very neat.
I embrace
Then
your
we have
culture.
Shapur I.
Oh yeah, this goes so hard.
That's a classic. It's basically Shapur dominating over Roman emperors. One of them is kneeling before him, the other is being captured. There's a separate
Gigantic,
relief which is not as nice as this one,
yeah,
where there's a third Roman
gigantic
emperor
stone
under his
relief, by
hooves.
the
But
way.
yeah, yeah, gigantic stone relief. I think it's just really fun how they just like carved out a little window for the top of his crown because
Yes.
it didn't fit. That's fun. And yeah, this relief is just colossal. It is literally like 3 people high. It's massive. So
This is so
very
cool.
cool, and it's
Yeah.
also just commemorating a very cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Ardashir the First. Ardashir the
Similarly,
First is here. Similar, it's his father, so following the tradition, Ardashir is here to the left. He is receiving the Far, the royal right to rule from Ahura Mazda, and he is paralleling the god because Ahura Mazda and Ardashir are both on horseback, and they're both trampling their enemies. Ahura Mazda is trampling Angramanyu, or Ahriman, while Ardashir is trampling Artabanus IV, the
yep.
Parthian king he has dethroned.
This one is
So,
so cool too.
There we are. This is very good. So, Serial, we have to rank these in an order. Which do you think, which is there one that's absolutely your favorite? It's like, no, this one definitely wins. Or anyone that's like, oh, this one's a bit weaker than the others. This is the easiest decision we're going to make all day, Serial.
No,
Make it only worse.
my brain is so fried. Like I'm already so tired, and now we have to do this. Ugh.
I can help, Serial. Don't worry.
You can make the decisions for me.
Make some. I can split if there's any that are close by.
I think I would put the coin like down just because it's a coin. Like it's cool that there's obviously it should be
That's
here. I
fair.
think it's really cool that it has 2 versions.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a coin, and I have sort of the
I do
same
agree,
issue
yeah.
with the. Is it a signet or the?
Oh,
yeah,
with a seal.
the
Yes.
seal of Paris the First,
seal of
where
Peros.
the seal has a lot of detail. It's very beautiful, and the material is also really beautiful. But in the end, the actual depiction is very similar to what we see in the coins as well. So it's a profile of the
That's fair.
king
I see
with the
where you're coming
crown
from.
and with decorations around it. Like, it,
Yeah.
this is more of the
It's
same.
not an
We've seen this
especially
before.
unique scene. It's just
Yeah.
it's just an image, a portrait. So okay, so we can put those below. Coin above or seal above?
Seal above.
Seal above. Very good.
Also, why don't we have here the plate of the hunting scene, the archery hunting scene?
We rated that lower. Let me check how low we rated it, but I think it was. Let me see. It was. I think the one that you mean is Bahram the Fifth, and he got a 4.5 out of 5. So we both gave him a 9 instead of a 10.
I see.
So we thought it was cool, but it wasn't anything that blew us away.
Because see, I still remember that. Because it was tied
Yeah.
to the story of the. Like,
Yeah, we had a narrative
shooting
of what the story that was being
the
depicted.
horns of a. What?
Yeah,
a
of
deer,
the
a goat,
antelope,
an
and
antelope,
adding
yeah.
2 horns to another antelope. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool, but we thought the plate itself wasn't as remarkable as we thought. There's actually no silver plates on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so now that we've done the bottom 2, anything else that maybe is there anybody that is clearly at the top of the list?
I really like
ones we've
the
seen?
bust of Antiochus the Great, but that's just my personal preference.
That's fair. We can. I mean,
we can start by
it's
like
mostly
putting him
personal
up there, and
preference
then
aesthetically.
we can see.
Let's start by putting him up there. And anybody else that you think deserves top marks?
Oh God, all of these are good. All of these are good. I think the vessel of Shapur II is funny, but not as remarkable as the reliefs. I mean, I don't know, but it's so unique too. Like, it's such a cool
unique,
artistic
but I feel
piece.
Like it is. Yeah, you're right. I mean, all these get top marks.
I
for
know.
A reason, but I feel like if it were me, I would also put it back down with the seal and the coin in like it's interesting, but it could be better.
Yeah. Also, I think of the 2 reliefs, I like the one of Ardashir the First more. Both because it's a bit more complete, and also because it has the symmetry of the horses and the enemy being trampled. And I'm like,
that's fun. Yeah, I agree with that, but also do not think that having like the Roman emperor submitting.
Yeah, but that's that's true, because the other one is not a Roman emperor; it's just the previous king.
I mean, it's a king of kings. So, still no slouch, but I feel like
I don't know. I like both.
Shapur is just slightly above. They're both very good. Yeah. Let's keep them in the meantime. So Alexander the Great and Seleucus. What do you think? I would put Seleucus more towards the bottom end because it's an interesting face. It's cool.
Yeah, I like the statue, but like okay,
not too distinctive.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I would put this above the Shapur II vessel.
The paint of like the white of the eyes is still visible. I don't know if it's paint or if it was made with different stone.
I think it's just different stone.
Yeah. Because if it survived Pompeii, it's such a good statue.
Okay, nice.
Damn.
It is a good one. So we'll put that. So we have like our bottom 4. Now in the top 4 we have Antiochus the Great, Alexander the Great with his yassification, Shapur the First, and Ardashir the First. Different styles, 2 different worlds. But yeah.
I love and hate Alexander so much, but like he is an icon, and we should recognize that.
He's iconic for a reason. Yeah, fair.
Like also in his looks, like he became a full-on like influence on later fashion in antiquity.
Yeah, so many people tried to just imitate his hairstyle. Like Pompey the Great tried to imitate his hair because like, oh, that's how it looks like. Mithridates the Great tried to imitate it because like, oh, this is what a great man looks like.
It's the long mullet, like curly unkempt mullet that it's just such a vibe.
So let's see. Is there anybody in these top 4 that you think maybe it's like, it's good, but it's not as good, that doesn't beat the others?
Yeah, I guess we should put Antiochus the Great a bit further down. Because in the end, it's just the one statue. I just, like, for me, this is my favorite, but, like, it's my own,
great statue, yeah. Fair enough. No, I think it's fair. It's like it's in the top 4 of them, but eventually it's a cool statue. Could be better.
I feel like the Alexander the Great and the 2 reliefs are the things that I would be most likely to recreate in art myself. Like
That's
to base
fair,
something on them.
Sure. I think, Sarah, I don't know if this is just my preference, so feel free to move aside, but I feel like Shapur I, the relief with the Roman emperors, that is the one I've been looking forward to showing you.
Yeah,
since the
it's
start
so
of the
good.
podcast.
Now that
I'm
looking at it
cool
again,
thing.
it has some movement to it, and so, like it's just so. Oof. Okay.
Yeah, it's a shame it's a bit weathered, but I think it's definitely the sort of
Yeah.
thing where it's like, it's definitely book cover material where it's like, here
Absolutely.
you go, here's why you should care about the Sassanids. Look at the 2 Romans suppliant before him. Look how majestic he looks with the crown.
Good
It's
horse
very cool.
too.
Yeah.
Chunky.
So, would you agree to put this first, or do you think that one of the other 2 haven't beat?
No, I think this has to be first.
Okay, so up first, then just second and third place, Alexander the Great or Ardashir the First. What do you think is the more iconic image?
I think Alexander has a more iconic image, and if we don't give him the face card, then what are we doing? Even though his actual face card is not, he's just a dude. He's like
he's a dude, but he's the dude everybody wants to look like.
Yeah, apparently. Well, not what he actually looked like, right? So
yeah, the idealized version.
exactly.
Although it is still wild to me every time that I think that for like at least 300 to 400 years, you could just go to Alexandria and look at Alexander's face, and he was just like there. That's
Right, because they
wild to me
mummified
that
him.
You could just see his mummy. Yeah, he was just there, like publicly exposed for tourists. It was just like,
Wild.
wow, damn. That's pretty intense.
I
Shame
wish we
lost
had
the body, but,
pictures, or even
Yeah,
like paintings.
yeah.
Like just more. I don't know.
I mean, there's the Alexander mosaic. We didn't choose that for his face of faces because it's like, it's also in. I can't remember if in Pompeii or Herculaneum, but anyway, destroyed
Also really
by Vesuvius.
Yeah.
It's a mosaic, so it's several hundred years later. So it's
Yeah.
not super accurate, but
Exactly,
it's
no.
iconic.
That's what I mean. I wish I could see like his actual face, and I feel like this statue comes the closest.
Yeah. Okay, so Cyril, let's sum up. Our order of the best portraits of King of Kings are Shapur I, with the relief with the Roman emperor's suppliant before him. Alexander the Great, with the transformation from actual dude into
A god.
Apollo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ardashir I, with his pairing and twinning with the god Ahura Mazda and being
So
granted
cool.
the right to rule. Antiochus the Great, with his really relatable face that is just like a cool statue with great expressions.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. Seleucus Nicator, with
Also.
his cool dark stone statue with the visible eyes and just a general impressive face. Shapur II,
With
the
funny
vessel
face,
with
yeah.
the funny look is just the figure 8 and the bomb on the head. That's fun. Peros I with the carnelian intaglio with an incredible amount of detail and just the most extra crown we could ever see. And then finally, Mithridates I with the coins that show a change in ideology and accepting a different culture as part of your own and assimilating it into your new group.
So good. All of these are so good.
All of these are great. They will be on the Discord if you want to see them in the Face of Faces section. Otherwise, they will be, in general, on their respective episodes. Go and have a look at them.
Could we put them under this episode as well so people don't have to go to each episode to look them up?
Yes, I will add that too. We can do that.
Okay, good.
So it should be in the description. You can find them.
I'm already so done with decisions and we haven't even started.
Cyril, don't worry. The next thing is going to be easy because all we have to do is just rate people. Not even rate people, just list the people that really should have had a portrait for the amount of points they had, but honestly, they just didn't.
I see.
Because we have 6 people who had no portraits whatsoever.
I know one of them I'm still mad about. Because you baited me.
That one does still have a portrait, but it's like a not as good portrait.
Well, yeah, because the actual portrait you were teasing never happened.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that'd be good. But Cyril, you made a cool one to make up for it, so Khosrow II has been avenged. But yeah, so the people who had no portrait whatsoever are Fraortes, the first, who really should have had some. He had 24.2 points, 0 was for portrait. He just really had nothing because it was just so far back in antiquity. He probably didn't even exist in the form we described him in.
We lost it all.
So he was just gone, yeah. Second is Sogdianus of Ashroom fame.
Oh, right.
When being murdered in the ash room, he didn't really have time to have a portrait made, so we don't have anything there. Next up is Adurnarse, the older brother of Shapur II. Again, he ruled for barely any time, had no time to make any coins, just very sad, 4.05 points, and no portrait. Fourth place is Shapur V, Shapur I, with a 3.025, and 0 for Face of Faces, because that was during the chaotic civil war at the end. He had no time or space to actually make a portrait. He ruled barely anywhere, so that's as far as we go. Fifth place, Xerxes II with 3.013, and no portrait, because, well, he ruled for 40 days, and that's all he had time to do. And this is also in a time when coins weren't really being minted with the face of the monarch, so nothing to see there. And last of all, honorable mention is Khosrow the Usurper with a 0.025, our lowest score in all the podcast. And yeah, can you blame the fact that he had no image? It was during a civil war. He got dethroned by Bahram Chobin, who was a lot cooler. So, bye-bye, Khosrow.
We don't care about him, I guess. Yeah.
And now, Cyril, for the dynasties. Do you have a guess over who was the dynasty with the best faces? Or who was the dynasty with the worst faces? Or at least the worst portraits?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm feeling like perhaps in antiquity is gonna be much harder to have good
fair.
You know, that anything has survived. So maybe that, you know, that plays a role. But otherwise, I don't know, because we've had a lot of good ones all over the place.
That's true. Okay, so in order, what we have is an average of Face of Faces, which remember is out of 5. Our top scorers are the Seleucids with a 3.04 out of 5. A lot of good sculptures, a lot of nice coins. You can understand why. They were well maintained. Good stuff. Second place are the Achaemenids with a 2.56 out of 5. Because, well, they had the great reliefs, you know, the typical Darius the Great style thing. Cyrus with some interesting looks. Cambyses with the cats and everything. They were sometimes displayed as pharaohs, which was also usually quite cool. So, nice stuff there. Then in third place, surprising me, honestly, we have the Arsacids. They're usually very poorly sourced, but we know them mainly through coins, and apparently they had some damn good coins, because they have a 2.55 out of 5.
Interesting.
But very, very quickly behind them, so we have a 2.56 for the Achaemenids, 2.55 for the Arsacids, then there's 2.54 for the Sassanids, which are very cool. I'm surprised they weren't higher with all the plates and the reliefs and everything. I think they have a lot of short-lived rulers where they just have like a not very good coin. Especially at the end, I think that's dragged them down. Where it's just, meh, they're almost there. Fourth place. Then fifth place are the Argeads with a 2.42 out of 5. Despite Alexander lifting up the general average, as he always does, there were still his brother and son. They were just like very generic rulers with some coins that kind of look like Alexander, and that was as far as we went. So, meh. But as you guessed, Cyril, the lowest ones of all are with a 1.88 out of 5, the medians. Because, well, we don't really have a portrait that we know of for most of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there was a huge time when, like, we have just no sources and no nothing, so...
Yeah, the medians, we have one portrait that might be of Cyaxares, and then everybody else was later portraits, so they had much lower scores. And that's just what they got. And yeah, so very quickly, just going through the Bayesian adjusted mean scores, we have that the first place is Seleucids again. The second place is Achaemenids again. Third place is Arsacids again. Then we have a tie for fourth place between Argeds and Sassanids. And last of all are the Medians, who still end up last. So here, having numbers didn't really advantage many people. It was mostly just, this is broadly where you want to look for a nice face. Okay, so there we are, Serial. We've done all the face of faces. It's time for the difficult decisions. So we'll go through a recap of our candidates for today. So just to remind you who it is, it's Darius the Great, Mithridates the Great, Khosrow I under Shiravan, Shapur I, Khosrow II Parviz.
Easy.
So let's go through all of them in order, and we'll look at their ratings and see which class which alignment they fit into. Also, just to tell you, I'll describe what I did to calculate the alignments.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know. So for the alignments, I calculated the law versus chaos axis for scheminess. So depending on how schemy you are, that is your law versus chaos.
I see.
Very simple. Simple score. Then, on the good versus evil axis, I decided to have two scores, basically. It was essentially for the Empire and for everyone else. So in the for the Empire side, it is your Aaron Shine minus your shock factor. That is good versus evil. So the better you are for the Empire, the more good you are, the more shocking you are, the more evil you are. Okay. That is the simple math
that usually
that is being
tracks.
put here. And instead, if we're looking at for everyone else, so not for the Empire, it is just based on your shock factor. So a lot of kings are going to have two scores because they do some shocking things, but this is basically checking if the ends justify the means. It's saying, yes, you did some shocking things, but was the Empire better off?
True.
So that is where you're placed on the good versus evil axis. Also, I noticed that I didn't specify what a Dungeons & Dragons alignment chart is, for those who don't know. Essentially, characters in Dungeons & Dragons and in our kings here are going to be placed on two axes. Good versus evil, where you go good, neutral, and evil. Then order versus chaos. So you have lawful, neutral, and chaotic. And so you combine these different categories, so you can have a person be lawful good if they're more trying to uphold the law and they are morally good, or they can be chaotic evil if they're entirely against the law and just willing to spread cruelty.
The way I understand it, I saw somebody talk about it in this way, and this is how I think about it ever since, is like the lawful versus chaotic. The lawful would mean you respect a set of rules and you uphold that with more power than the individual. So you follow this set of rules, be it society or your own moral code, above what an individual might need. And a chaotic person might do the opposite, upholds the individual needs, whether it's like their own selfish needs or just the needs of any individual, above like whatever system of rules is applied. And on the other axis, evil versus good, the way I look at it is, in an evil side of the spectrum, you put your own gain above that of others. And in the good side of the spectrum, you put the well-being of others or the gain of others above your own wants and needs. Or your own,
that's
more selfish preferences.
So we're going to be rating our kings into these categories, and well, my algorithm, based on the scores, it has given out a result, but Cyril, you can tell me if you agree or if you think that maybe
All right, let's see.
I was being unfair. So first of all, let's just do a very quick recap of all the lives of who we're talking about so we know who it is. So Darius the Great. We know him, we love him, he's our top scorer. He usurped the throne from Bardia, the previous legitimate ruler, and he just rewrote history so that he was the guy in the right forever and for all time. He restructured the empire, made it more centralized, standardized money, roads, established satrapies, made a Suez Canal connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. That was very cool. He basically had to reconquer the empire himself. He had a war with the Scythians up in the north, conquered India, had this war against the Greeks where he eventually got defeated at Marathon against Athens, but he did manage to destroy Eretria, so wins there. He created the basis for Persepolis, this great foundational capital of the empire, and he is the one after which there's the fundamental iconography of a typical Achaemenid king. And he is just the typical, most iconic ruler that we have had. Everybody will try and imitate him and try and follow in his footsteps and make themselves as he was. So overall, his score was 80.1. Just to give you the broken down scores. Total score, 80.1. 0 for final moments, 18 for battle hardness, 20 for scheminess, 14 for shock factor, 20 for air and shine, 4.5 out of 5 for face of faces, 3.6 out of 5 for likeliness. And Serial, my algorithm has put him into the following category. For the Empire, he is chaotic neutral. For everyone else, he is chaotic evil. What are your thoughts?
I think it checks out.
It's definitely chaotic, I would say,
Yeah.
because he's sort of like a mid ground between chaotic and lawful, because he does establish a new order himself for him.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he has overthrown a ruler and rewritten history. So
Yeah.
I feel like that trumps it. I think that's on the chaotic end. As for neutral or evil,
It's a
he's
bold
definitely
move,
selfish.
too.
He does, yeah. He's definitely selfish. He, overthrows the empire and has to reconquer it for his own sake. He does murder a bunch of people. There's a lot of atrocities he commits
Yes.
when reconquering the empire. So, yeah, that's intense. So I feel like I broadly agree with the chaotic neutral versus chaotic evil side. If he were to be one of the two more of them, you, Serial, personally, where would you place him?
No, chaotic evil works. I mean, he also
Chaotic
gives
evil?
me
Okay.
lawful vibes because of like all of the rules and regulations that he then installs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's definitely very organized and diligent, and
Yeah, that's right. He's definitely more chaotic as a young man, but changes.
Yeah, maybe I would go to more like lawful than chaotic, but I can see the chaotic evil as well
Mm-hmm.
with like how we have defined it.
Fair enough.
Of like the extremely wild decision to like take the throne, rewrite history.
Yes. Yeah, he's fun. We like him. Okay, our second ruler is Mithridates the Great, Mithridates II. He became king as a young man, with a bunch of recent kings being all killed by the nomadic Saka and Yuanzhi. We don't know how, but he defeats them so hard that there will be no nomad threat for 300 years.
Yeah.
Wild. He founds the Silk Road after contact with China. He truly consolidates the Parthian Empire after its foundation, both east and west. He makes Tigranes the Great king of Armenia as his vassal king. It's the first time Armenia becomes this border region for us. He conquers more land thanks to the dissolution of the Seleucid Empire. He is a friend to the Greeks in the empire, but also has inscriptions around those of Darius the Great for legitimacy. So he's just following in our previous candidate's footsteps. So overall, his score is 61.6 out of 100, which we can break up into a 0.5 out of 10 for final moments, 20 out of 20 for battle hardness, 3 out of 20 for scheminess, 11 out of 20 for shock factor, 20 out of 20 for air and shine, 4 out of 5 for face of faces, and a 3.1 out of 5 for lengthiness, for a total of 61.6 out of 100. And the algorithm has sorted him in to lawful good for the Empire, lawful neutral for everyone else, because of the atrocities he probably committed against the nomads.
True.
Do you think this matches Serial, or do you think it should be moved somewhat?
Let's analyze each part separately. So what about the lawfulness?
So lawfulness is essentially just establishing a new empire and just making sure it's all consolidated. He's making himself king after a period of instability. He doesn't really have any schemes. He's very above board, so
yeah,
pretty straightforward for law, I'd say.
And then I think we should give Darius also a more lawful alignment.
So you think instead of chaotic evil, he's more neutral evil?
Yeah,
There's
I
like
think
halfway
neutral
through.
encompasses better the both sides of his.
Fair.
You know.
That sounds good. Fair enough. So Darius is going towards neutral evil. And so yeah, instead, Mithridates, he's very lawful. I'd say there's not much moving there. As for the good versus evil axis, he does save the empire and make sure it will last for, 500 years, depending on definitions, more or less. And the problem is that he does do probably a lot of horrifying things to the people he just gets rid of.
No kings are good,
No, exactly. None of them are good. So, but, do you think the fact that he ensured peace and prosperity for his empire for centuries is more on the good side, or do you think that overall he's probably just more lawful neutral?
I mean, the fact that you can have a prosperous and safe empire, I find it important, because otherwise none of them are going to be in the good alignment, at all.
Yeah, exactly, of course. Yeah, which is why there's this split for us and for everyone else.
Yeah.
So do you think he is worth putting in lawful good, or actually no, he needs to step down to lawful neutral?
Let's put him in lawful good. I'll let you know if I change my mind.
An actual nice rule. Lawful good is incidentally where Cyrus was, and chaotic evil is where Alexander was.
Yep.
So
that makes perfect sense.
Fair enough. Okay, so we've done Mithridates. Let's move on to Khosrow I of Shirvan. He is the son of Kavad I, the revolutionary. He was humiliated by the Roman adoption, where the Romans said, "Oh, we can adopt you as a barbarian if you like."
True, yeah.
He decimated the Mazdakite heretics, killed them all, killed their prophet, and eradicated their religion. He had the eternal peace with Rome after a bloody civil war, which lasted 8 years. He continued his father's reforms, restructuring the army and the economy. He built a bunch of great works in Ctesiphon. He was fond of innovations and hosted refugees of the Platonic Academy. He then started a new war with Rome. He built Khosrow's better Antioch. He finally destroyed the Hephthalite nomads at last, took Yemen, had a last war with the Romans with mixed success, and he's so influential that after him, the Sassanid kings will be called Khosrows after him, or maybe Khosrow II, who's coming up next. And the Roman historian Agathias claimed that, and I quote, "It could hardly be claimed that even Cyrus, the son of Cambyses, or Darius, the son of Hystaspes, or for that matter, the famous Xerxes, who opened up the seas to cavalry and the mountains to shipping, would stand comparison with him."
That's pretty strong praise.
His total score is a 74.8 out of 100, which was divided into a 2 out of 10 for final moments, 18 out of 20 for battle hardness, 11 out of 20 for scheminess, 15 out of 20 for shock factor, 20 out of 20 for air and shine, 4 out of 5 for face of faces, and a 4.8 out of 5 for lengthiness. The algorithm places him into either true neutral for the Empire or neutral evil for everyone else. Instinctively, do you think that matches, or?
That's interesting, because he got so much praise for being such a good and successful ruler.
But he was also extremely ruthless.
Yeah, true. I'm always but he helped the Empire.
I mean, he did help the Empire. That's why he's a true neutral. Yeah.
True.
But he did, massacre
Horrible
the
things, yeah.
Mazdakites.
Yep.
He did deport all the city of Antioch to around
True.
Ctesiphon and build a new one because he could.
True.
Which,
Yeah.
it's cool and fun, but also
But
not if
terrible
you're
for
one
the
of the
people,
people who
yeah.
live there. Yeah. Like, now that it's like thousands of years later, yeah, that's fun. Haha, Khosrow's better Antioch. But also, oh no, those were actual people with lives.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, he also just. But also for the Empire, he managed to restructure it, made it strong, centralized, unified, tried to limit the influence of nobles. And that's also kind of why he was shocking. He was shocking because the nobles, he resisted them. He managed to do this. And then on the lawful versus chaotic side, yes, he did greatly centralize power, make it a lot more effective, but he did sort of trick all the Mazdakites into being executed. He had a bunch of plots against his son. And he did a bunch of different stratagems with the wars with the Romans. He essentially violated the eternal peace because it was expedient, and he got a message from the Ostrogoths. So
yeah, that's not great. That's
mixed
like the
messaging
kind of
there.
thing that the Romans do.
Exactly. So do you think that true neutral or neutral evil are good judgments, or is there something else you think is better suited?
No, I think that makes sense. I like it.
So true neutral or neutral evil? Which do you think that he did enough good for the Empire to put him into true neutral?
But he did so much bad.
He did so much good as well.
True.
I mean, you could also say that the fall of the Empire might be his fault because he put a lot more power into the hands of the generals of the army. And that's how you get Bahram Chobin and the Civil War at the end.
Actually, true.
You could judge that.
Yeah.
You think that drops him into neutral evil?
Yeah, let's go with neutral evil.
Fair enough. So neutral evil it is.
Next
up, we have Shapur I. He is the second Sassanid, the best portrait as we've judged. He was a worthy successor to his father Ardashir. He helped his father overthrow the Arsacids, ensure the stabilization of the new empire and dynasty. He was victorious multiple times against the Romans. 3 emperors submitted to him, and he captured Valerian alive. Managed to ravage Syria and eastern Anatolia, transferring a large portion of their population to Mesopotamia. Introduced a lot of Western knowledge into the empire. The empire managed to take control of Armenia and introduce the heir controlling Armenia. He supported the Kushano-Sassanids in the east, founded many new cities, and improved agriculture. He was religiously tolerant for Mani and Kartir. And eventually he had an extremely rigorous succession plan, even though people ultimately didn't really respect it. But he tried his best.
You could argue that brought upon their end.
So his final score was 67.8 out of 100, divided in the following way. It was a 2 out of 10 for final moments, 20 out of 20 for battle hardness, 3 out of 20 for scheminess, 15 out of 20 for shock factor, 20 out of 20 for air and shine, 5 out of 20 for face of faces, 2.8 out of 5 for lengthiness. And the algorithm places him as either lawful neutral for the Empire or lawful evil for everyone else. So, on the lawful versus chaotic axis, he doesn't really have many schemes. He has some minor stories about how he takes some cities, but it's nothing serious. He's mostly just centralizing, making sure the government works properly and effectively. He makes the rules. On the good versus evil axis, he is good for the Empire. He stabilizes and organizes it. He is very religiously tolerant, which is positive. But he also does deport hundreds of thousands of Roman citizens into the Empire because it's effective and useful for us.
Yeah.
So, suboptimal. And also, he kind of keeps a Roman emperor as a pet because he can, which, cool, but shocking.
Yes.
So, some people might question that overall. And, yeah. Also, on the lawful side, he does have a massive multi-step succession plan, which we think is very impressive for him.
Yeah.
So, very cool there. And yeah, so overall, the score is 67.8, lawful neutral or lawful evil. Do you agree, Serial?
Again, hard to decide if neutral or evil.
Yeah, here, I mean, I would say that his legacy is an empire that lasts for centuries.
Yeah.
You could say that, if Ardashir had been there and it had had an incompetent heir, then the Arsacids would have probably come back. While since Shapur was there and he managed to consolidate everything, the empire lived long and it had its new, typically Sassanid characteristic.
Yeah.
So while Ardashir conquered the empire, Shapur actually made it.
True.
So I'm more inclined to put him on the neutral side. And
Yeah, that's a good
reward
argument.
him for this. Also, he was religiously tolerant, so that's nice. We
We love that.
So, lawful neutral for Shapur I. And then, last but certainly not least, we have Khosrow II Parviz. He was the last great Sassanid king. He took the throne in a coup from his father. He was later chased away by Bahram Chobin. He then went to the Romans and asked for their help. Managed to reconquer the empire from Bahram Chobin. He then couped his uncles, but then this started a civil war. He defeated his uncle Bestam through murder.
Through murder.
Yes.
Sorry, it just really got me.
Then when finally the empire was at peace, the Roman Emperor Maurice was killed and Khosrow took up the cause of his son Theodosius. He conquered 3/4 of the Roman Empire and refused a final capitulation out of pure hubris, because honestly he could. What would you have done? He had great management of the empire with tolerance of Christianity. He held a Christian council to decide how everything should be organized. He loved his wife Shirin. He planned a massive relief that unfortunately remained unfinished.
Yeah.
He eventually ultimately lost at Constantinople and Nineveh, and he was finally overthrown and killed by his son, who killed his other favorite son in front of him. His final score is a 71.7 out of 100. Very dramatic story. He received a 10 out of 10 for final moments, a 12 out of 20 for battle hardness, 14 out of 20 for scheminess, 14 out of 20 for shock factor, 14 out of 20 for air and shine, 4 out of 5 for face of faces, and a 3.7 out of 5 for lengthiness. The algorithm gives him, in the end, a chaotic neutral for the Empire, while chaotic evil for everyone else. Which is, incidentally, how he's depicted in most Roman sources.
True.
So yeah, on the law versus chaos axis, he runs, he coups his father. He coups his uncles. He runs to the Romans for help in retaking the empire. That's wild.
Yep.
He also just, when he's offered by the Romans complete surrender, he says, lol, no, I'd rather take everything myself.
It was a terrible decision. The only one that can pull that off is Alexander.
Yeah, it's a cool decision. Not a good one, though.
Yeah.
Again, it's always the usual thing. Oh, well, Alexander refused and it worked out for him, so
yeah, but
why should it work for us?
What were the odds? That's the whole point of Alexander.
Alexander would win.
That's the whole point of him.
I feel like there are so many alternate universes where Alexander just dies and it's like, okay, I guess that failed. That was miserable.
Like, that's the whole issue with Alexander. That he should have lost so long ago, and he just didn't for some reason.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like the gods were like, what if we just, for fun?
Yeah, just using cheat codes.
Yeah.
And, Khosrow instead tries, but ultimately collapses and fails. As for the good versus evil axis, he does a lot of cooing of people he shouldn't have cooed. Like his uncles, his father, he has him killed.
Yeah.
He goes to the Romans, that's kind of messy. He starts the largest war in antiquity, and just ultimately the result of the war is that the empire falls in a civil war and is eventually conquered by the caliphate at the end. That's, if he had won, would have been the greatest, but ultimately he didn't, so that's what we need to judge him on. On the positive side, he had great management of the empire. He tolerated Christians, made sure everything ran positively. He kept the administration that needed to be kept and modified what needed to be modified. He loved his wife. That was nice. He had a Christian council to organize everything and make sure it was all properly sorted out. And depending on if you believe that he believed that Theodosius was the legitimate Roman emperor, he did kind of support his benefactor after all and just try and save him. Then on the flip side, you have the fact that Theodosius eventually disappears, and we don't know why. So maybe he just died of disease, but maybe Khosrow thought he wasn't useful anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an issue. And yeah, in the end, that is broadly his vibe. Do you think he's more chaotic neutral, chaotic evil, or perhaps somewhere else? Does he give you Alexander vibes, is basically the idea for the chaotic evil.
He gives
side.
me chaotic evil vibes for sure. Like some of the decisions, except, you know, the fact that they didn't work out for him. Because, yeah, they shouldn't have worked out for Alexander either.
Yeah, exactly. Alexander is just like the exception. He doesn't count.
Yeah. You can't justify your decisions by saying Alexander did it. Because the fact that he did...
No, that's a terrible decision, yes.
Yeah. Statistically, just bad.
So overall, I think we're agreeing chaotic evil for Khosrow II.
Yep.
Sounds good. So, to sum it up, we have Darius the Great, neutral evil. Mithridates the Great, lawful good. Khosrow I, neutral evil. Shapur I, lawful neutral. Khosrow II, chaotic evil. But now, Serial, the dreaded moment has arrived. We need to choose 2 of these kings to go forward to the semifinals, and 3 of them to just be abandoned in the royal hunt, be mauled by wild beasts. Because, well, this is the fate we've given to ourselves.
Yeah, why?
So, Serial, to start with, is there anyone that you think absolutely needs to make it through, or is definitely not as good as the others and falls behind first? Just to try and make things simpler for ourselves.
Okay, give me the rundown again. Let's see.
So, Darius the Great. He top scorer.
Yep.
Restored the empire. Massive schemes. Fun stuff. Mithridates II. Mithridates the Great. Basically refounds the Parthian Empire. Stabilizes the nomads. Makes the Silk Road. Follows in Darius' footsteps, but is still a friend of the Greeks. Khosrow I decimates the Mazdakites, long wars with Rome, Khosrow's better Antioch. Sassanid kings are called Khosrows after him, greatly expands the empire, builds a bunch of cool things. Very nice. Some historians say that he's better. The Roman historian Agathias says that he's better than Darius. Who knows? That's Khosrow I. Shapur I, second Sassanid king, consolidates the Sassanid Empire. Victories against multiple Romans. The best image, as we agreed. He deports a bunch of people from Roman territory into Mesopotamia. Founds a bunch of new cities, improves agriculture, tolerates religions, rigorous succession plan. Khosrow II, last great Sassanid king, coups his father, goes to ask help from the Romans, coups his uncles, last great war of antiquity, does a great job until he suddenly doesn't. His death ends the empire, basically.
I love that description because it's so true. Like, does great until he doesn't. Like, yeah.
So, out of these, is there somebody that stands out positively or negatively? Is there somebody that, you think deserves a spot, definitely, or somebody that's definitely doesn't?
We must keep Darius in there, I think.
I feel like
reason why we wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree that Darius, I couldn't justify kicking him out at this point. I don't know if he's going to win the final thing. We'll have to decide. But I think he deserves at least to get up to the semifinals.
Yes. So,
I think without too much trouble, we can say, okay, Darius the Great, he goes off into the royal hunt. He shoots two lions with a single arrow, and he rides off triumphantly into the audience to fight again a new day. Out of the other kings, I have a clear favorite, Serial.
Okay, tell me.
Can you guess who my favorite is?
Is it Khosrow?
It is, well, we have 2 Khosrows, but it is Khosrow the second.
The second, yeah.
I just like his drama. His life is just so much.
You saw the art I made.
So everything. Exactly. I wrote a poem for him. There was
oh my god, you did?
Yes, we reread it during the thing. It was great.
Oh, true. Oh my god, I feel so bad. So sorry for forgetting.
It's fine. But I feel like Khosrow is just like so dramatic. There's so many ups and downs. Like he goes to the lowest lows and the highest highs, and then the death is so dramatic, and he reaches so close to the sun, but then collapses down at the end. He is my clear favorite.
Yeah, let's put him
I like him
in there.
I will just play devil's advocate for the other three because I feel bad excluding them
Because
immediately.
we must discuss it.
Yeah. Mithridates the Great. You liked him before. You excluded Shapur II in his favor. Which
yes, I know.
people disagreed with.
Well, you can add me.
You can make your own 100-episode podcast.
Yeah.
But no, Mithridates the Great founds the Silk Road. That's pretty cool. Makes the Parthian Empire be a thing. He is very cool. He is this nice biphase Hellenistic versus Iranian nature. Very fancy. I feel like out of all these rulers, Mithridates is probably at the bottom, mostly for source reasons. Because he basically comes out of the mists of the east saying, he did something, the nomads will not disturb us for 300 years. It's like, but what did he do?
Yeah, which is so mysterious, but like we don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of like, well, he's not in this round, but sort of with Antiochus the Great, where we just have the source that says, oh, he went to the east and he did such cool stuff they became called the Great. We're not going to tell you what he did there, but it was cool. Like, no, but tell us, please. What do you mean?
Please.
So I'd put Mithridates the Great at the bottom of this list. I'd say he goes out first, if you would agree, Serial.
Yeah, I mean, they're all cool, okay? Like, I know.
Yeah. So Mithridates the Great, he's riding off into the forest, accidentally gets lost in the steppe, and is surrounded by a bunch of nomads. Oh no.
They have something to
Revenge.
say. Yeah.
Yes. He disappears into the mists.
We don't know. We did something.
Next up, with the other two, we have Khosrow I. He is the reason Khosrow II can do all his work. He is the reason he reforms the empire. Khosrow's better Antioch is just like a great bit. Just like the thing where there's a guy that is missing the favorite tree outside his house, and Khosrow just like says, "Oh, fine, I'll find you that tree and plant it back in your house now." That's fun. That's a good bit.
Yeah.
And he's just like a generally extremely solid king. He does an amazing job for the empire. He's one of the best kings that we've ever had. And, well, we're clearly disagreeing with Agathias that he was better than Darius, but we agree that he was better than Xerxes and then Cambyses, certainly. So that's Khosrow I. Shapur I, the relief is really cool. That's just such a cool thing you want to show. And when you tell people, you know, the first Roman emperor ever captured alive is Shapur doing it. The first Roman emperor killed in battle with foreigners, that is against Shapur. That's pretty cool. That's very impressive. He mainly does a lot with Rome. I would say I'd put Shapur I as fourth place, mostly because it's so Rome-centered. Where it's like, it's cool, but he doesn't have much on his own. Like, we have some sources, but not too many. So Shapur I, he runs off into the woods. Unfortunately, his horse trips, and he finds himself under the hooves of his own horse, being trampled to death, sadly. So have I convinced you that Khosrow I is more interesting than Khosrow II? Or do you agree with me that Khosrow II is just so dramatic that he has to go through?
It has to be Khosrow II. We love
Fair
him.
enough.
We have already established this.
Yes.
I'm glad that this episode is actually going to be easier than I thought.
Yeah, exactly. You were worried. See, it's fine. So unfortunately, Khosrow I,
Because if I give it any more thought, I'm going to talk myself out of it, and I don't want to.
Yes. Khosrow I, during the royal hunt, he has a vicious hand-to-hand fight with one of the lions that are being kept there, but unfortunately he is eventually disemboweled and defeated, while Khosrow II manages to come in clutch and steal Khosrow I's lion, stabs him in the neck, and at last Khosrow II rides off triumphant, ready to face Darius another day. But well, if Darius and Khosrow II will face each other, it will only be in the final, because the semifinal has now been half decided. It's going to be semifinal 1, Darius the Great against somebody, and semifinal 2, Khosrow II against somebody. We'll get to decide next time who it's going to be. Because next time we're going to be facing off a series of different people, because we have Seleucus I Nicator, Kavad I, Bahram VI Bahram Choban, Antiochus the Great, and Musa. We're going to have to choose 2 of these to go into the semifinal against the 2 boys that we chose today. And well, we can see. We're going to eventually have like a mini baby final for who gets to be 3rd and 4th place. So there's a lot to play for. We'll get to find out how it turns. So yes, thank you all for listening. We hope you had fun with this first of the second set of rounds. Next round, we'll see. Will it be harder decisions? Will it be easier decisions? We'll find out. In the meantime, if you'd like to support us, there are many ways to do so. You can join us on our Patreon, like our new patron, Kyle Much. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you join our Patreon, you will have a bunch of extra episodes you can listen to, which are just fun about general people around the Iranian empires and within them that we've looked at so far. And you can also get some sneak peeks on what is going to happen in the future by accessing our Discord and figuring out, what are we planning? What's going to happen? Who knows? If instead you'd rather not support us monetarily, then we'd appreciate if you could give us a review on your podcast app of choice. We've seen some very nice people commenting along with our rounds episodes, telling us their opinions. So please do. It's fun. We love to hear it. And it just lets other people know that the podcast exists and lets us be known to a wider audience.
Yeah, recommend us, to your friends, your family, your enemies. I don't care.
Yeah. We also have a merch store if you would want to have a poster with all our kings on them, or with different dynasties on them, or have mugs with some of Serial's art on it, or t-shirts, whatever you like.
Yeah,
it's fun.
We have
it supports
now.
the podcast. It's neat. It's in the link in the description. Have a look. But yeah, I think that it's been a nice long episode. We've reviewed a lot of past glories. Serial, let's head off into the sunset, and we'll join next time with the last of the rounds before we start up with the semifinals. We hope you have a lovely week, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.